Welcome to week 6 of my raised bed garden tour. We've had lots of changes this week in the garden. My roses are blooming, very pretty. And I got a gorgeous echinacea coneflower from the farmer's market last weekend. I'm very excited about that one. That rose bush isn't blooming yet, and that's the tomato bush that the deer ate. We've had lots of issues with deer this week. So first thing you'll see is we have added a shade cloth, because if you see over here, this one's not totally under the shade cloth all the time because this is the only size we have. We've ordered a bigger one. The plants are just right under direct sun without this cloth for a long time, and they're just wilting. And tomatoes, particularly, peppers like it hot, but even they will wither. But tomatoes, I mean, they really like it about top is about 85 degrees. And the shade cloth, when you put shade cloth over it, it still gets all the sun, it gets all the beneficial rain, but it keeps it at about, well, depending on what shade cloth you have, but it keeps it around 15 degrees cooler underneath it. So if it's 95 to your tomato plant, it's going to feel closer to, 80, somewhere in there is the thought behind it. So that's what we're hoping with our tomatoes. This is my little cherry tomato that I did. If you can see, it's got some little cherry tomatoes on it. Right there. And my celebrity has some nice big ones on there, and my Roma's doing well. I pruned these a little at the bottom this morning, because it looked like I had some blight maybe starting. And we got a lot of rain coming in, so I don't want to give it any headway. And my peppers are doing well. I got some banana peppers, lots of little bell peppers. They're not ready. Lots of blooms for more peppers. And then over here, I think those are the cayenne peppers. Daniel accidentally took a bite out of one of those the other night. And I think these are the jalapeno peppers Jessica gave me. We have little peppers there, and the new growth is darker green. So I think they're going to be okay. And this was it's called a patio tomato I got from the master gardeners at the farmer's market up in Cartersville last weekend. And I actually got 2 of these and potted them up, and interested to see how those do. Our dwarf tomatoes are real wonky, so we took some of them out and got some different varieties so that we're not just banking on the dwarf tomatoes. And then we've got a couple boxes of them that are doing okay. The cucumbers all of a sudden are just really shooting up. They're doing really well. I got lots of bloom, got little cucumbers on a bunch of them. So maybe by next week I might have some to pick. Got more bell peppers. This is the bell pepper I'm hoping makes it. It's a chocolate bell pepper. This is one that Jessica gave me, and something had eat on its leaf, but it was the only one that was a chocolate. And I've heard they're supposed to be really good, so I'm hoping. It had like some little peppers on there, and I picked them off so it could focus on growth, and it has actually grown a good bit. So I'm hoping that one will produce. This bed, these are still some dwarf ones, and it looks like right there, let me see if I can get it in, right there is the start. Right there is the start of a tomato, and that's one of the dwarf ones that John did. So we kept these few that were in here because they were the best that were in this box, and then we replanted this box. I got, these are, I don't know if this is the proper name, but the guy who sold them to me at the Aqua Farmers Market called them Hangover Joes, and they're little cherry tomatoes that cascade down, and they stay pretty small, and they just cascade over your boxes. And he gave me 4 of them for like $1, so I put them in here, and they're going gangbusters. And then I got an early doll, which this should get pretty big from what I've seen. And this is some super saucer. I also got this one, and it's not looking so great. I got this from the Master Gardeners up in Cartersville. So I got both of these from the same Master Gardener. But this one's definitely thriving much better than this one. And then I put in some lemongrass, and this is a heat tolerant basil. It smells amazing, and I can't, this is the variegated. It's a variegated basil, and it's for pestos. I can't tell you how well it smells. And these are more of the Hangover Joes right here. And then I got, this is another super saucer, and it's doing well. And I planted it next to some rosemary and some lavender. And then this is called a Parker Whopper. I've got 3 of these. And here are the other 2 of those. So I buried them deep. I rescued them from Pike Nursery. They were like 40% off or something. They were a little more established, and they looked good. So I thought, what the heck? And I got some lemon thyme in here. But this was the big baby. You can see it. Oh, I can't turn the camera like that. Sorry. But this is a Cherokee Purple. And after the Mortgage Lifter, this is probably my next favorite heirloom tomato. It is absolutely gorgeous. I was scared to transplant it in here, but it seems to really like it in here. And it even has some tomatoes. It's right there. It's got tons of blooms. And my Mortgage Lifter has blooms, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be a tomato. It is doing really well. I actually pruned the bottom so I could get airflow, because I've got it companion planted with these cayenne peppers, which it seems to really like. And so I thinned out these bottom leaves so that it has enough oxygen flow, and we moved it over here under the shade cloth to give it its best chance. And on my side yard, every year I try to grow brandywines. You're supposed to have 2, and I had 2. One of them's dead as a doornail, and the other one is going gangbusters, and it has some blooms on it. So I'm hoping. I've never successfully grown a brandywine. They've always gotten disease, shriveled up, and died. I have grown lots of other tomatoes, but this one just hadn't worked. And for whatever reason, this one was neglected. I had forgot about it. I had put it in this Tractor Supply bucket. All it had was Happy Frog soil, and left it over there. And this has been over there for 2 months. And saw the other one and the shape it was in, and I was like, I should probably move this one to the fenced-in garden for the deer find it. And I think it's doing pretty well. I'm hopeful that I'm going to actually finally get a Brandywine tomato. I hope. I'm a little nervous about all this heavy rain coming in this weekend, so we will see. And then these are John's successful dwarf plants. They are growing. We're doing the Florida weave and staking them. And we have tomatoes on, like right there. We have a tomato and it's growing. And then over here we have another one. And there's lots of little baby ones that are starting to come up on this bed. This is a different variety of them. But they're doing great. So we're thankful. Like I said, the cucumbers are all doing much better. They enjoyed all the sun this week. Hoping they make it through all this rain this weekend, because that takes me to the second part of my in-ground garden. And you will notice there are no beans. That rain that we got, all that rain, it killed my beans. They were just rotten. And I had to pull them all out. My runner beans, all of them. I think I have salvaged my cantaloupe, I hope, and my bee balm. And we amended the soil and all these beds, and I replanted them this morning with new beans. I put the same kind. I had ordered more of the Haas bush beans for these two beds, and I just replanted them just like I did before. But over here, I did not have any more of the scarlet runners, and I didn't have any more of the oriental noodle beans. It was really sad. Didn't want to pull those out, but I did. And I did Kentucky Wonder pole beans through this whole back part. And right here where I had the eggplant, I went ahead and took it out, and I went ahead and sowed some rutabagas, hoping they'll be ready for fall. They take a while, and I actually tried to do them over the winter, and I think the birds pecked them out of my other bed, and I just didn't get any sun over there. So I'm hopeful that this will take, and we'll see. And then this brings me my zucchini and my pumpkins. They have, and these little I'm about ready to just pull these two cucumbers out. I think they're kind of toast. They have some cucumbers. They're funky. I mean, look at this little funky cucumber. I don't think they're getting enough sun for the cucumbers. And they were kind of root bound when I planted them over here. So they had some things against them already. And so I don't know. And I'm thinking about, well, I may just take them out if they don't improve significantly in the next week, and just leave this room for the pie pumpkins to grow. They seem to maybe be doing a little better. I don't know. I'm a little concerned about them. I actually think they look a little better since we put some more of our compost on them. And my zucchinis, look at that bug. This is not a ladybug. This is eating my plant. And I have to get rid of that. I'm going to feed you to the chickens. You just wait. That's what's eating my... I was been out here looking, and I couldn't find one. I couldn't see what it was. That's what it is. They'll eat your squash plants. And they are not ladybugs. I actually saw one at my friend's house a couple weeks ago in her garden, and I said, well, maybe it's a ladybug. It's not a ladybug. It's a squash plant. Squash eating plant. I know it's got a official name. Sorry. But I wanted to show you on this beautiful zucchini plant, because I have a zucchini that got fertilized, and I didn't even have to do it. I actually caught the bee in there. So that is a girl fertilized zucchini, and I have some new ones coming on. Let's see. I showed John earlier. Yeah. Trying to find the one. Well, let's see. Oh, right here. If you can see, that's going to be a female. So on your squash, your yellow, and your zucchini, boy, he has done a number on these leaves. Don't worry, I'm going to take great pleasure in feeding you to my chickens. You're going to get about 9 male blooms to 1 female bloom. So if you're having a lot of the male blooms, which I was, and I'm like, I don't have any females. That's because the females are more labor intensive to put off their bloom. And I think that's true with cantaloupe and melons and all of that as well. So keep that in mind, you know, if you're worried that you don't have any females. But you definitely want to get rid of these guys right there. Let's see. I'm trying to make it. Yeah, right there. You can see he's already eaten so much of that healthy leaf. You make me sick. I swear, the pest. I don't know what I hate worse, the pest or the deer. So, my bed over here, my peas are trucking along. I don't think it's getting too hot. I'm gonna have to take these out soon, and I actually have some burgundy runner beans I'll put out here. But I went ahead and left them for now because they're still flowering a little bit. And you get these little pea pods, but it's just really getting too hot. What I read on the seed package is these like at 80, 85 is probably too hot. And these are my pumpkin seed pumpkins that have all came up. They're doing well. I also planted a few rutabagas in this bed. And when we mulched it, well, John mulched it, he covered over my poor little carrots. But I had a couple. Well, I have a few more than a couple. It's so hard to see that. But that's a little baby carrot. It poked out from all this stuff, all these wood chips, and there's a couple more that poked out. So I don't have as many, but in all honesty, these ones that poked their head out, they look better. So I'm thinking they're appreciating the compost that was in with this mulch. And so I'm hoping I'll still get a few carrots and maybe some rutabagas. And I moved this eggplant and I think I killed it. We'll see. We'll see if it comes back. It's definitely a transplant shock right now. But I just wanted to keep all the eggplant over here with the sweet potatoes, and they're doing really well. And my potatoes over here, these are my purple potatoes, all flowered this week. They're kind of wilty now, but they were the prettiest little white flowers. And they actually have some new blooms on it as well. And then my bed out here of plants that deer will not eat, they ate. They ate. I cannot believe it. I spent a lot of money on these plants, and they were like, oh no, deer won't eat these. These are deer resistant, bunny resistant, bird resistant, and they're pollinator attractors. Well, my deer ate it. He ate the whole top. That thing was up to here. He ate it. And the other thing he ate was my lamp lighter hydrangea at the mailbox. He ate all the blooms off of it. So, and he ate a lot of the tops off of my sunflowers. So, just not real happy with our neighborhood deer right now. So, that is, and we still have, oh, another thing we're dealing with is with our blueberries. The birds. They have come down this week and started picking our blueberries before they're starting to turn blue. And this one they cleaned out pretty good. I caught them out here. The other one, not as much, which I actually like the blueberries on the other one better anyway, but just the same. So we've ordered bird netting to put over that, to put over our figs. And yes, so pests are real. And they can make gardening not as fun And so is weather. Weather's challenging. The last thing I want to show before I sign off from over here is this is my bucket. Will it grow? We've been eating tomatoes out of this bucket this whole week. These plants look phenomenal. I don't know if this pepper plant is going to come back or not, but it looks like it's hanging in there. This is the pumpkin that I pulled when I thinned them. It looks better than the ones over there. And this is one of the cucumber that broke that Jessica gave me. And so I stuck it in here. And it's going gangbusters. This is like a pot of gold as far as soil goes in here. And this one also had Happy Frog. That stuff is just, it's expensive, but it's amazing. It is amazing. Matter of fact, I went and bought their liquid fertilizer so that I could start fertilizing my beds with it. Because I just think it's such a good, solid product. And these were the 4 that we pulled out from the one bed. We stuck it in there with only our compost from my chickens, and they're starting to go gangbusters. So they may get repotted up at some point in the garden. We're just waiting to see. So this is week 6 of my in-ground garden, and some successes, lots of failures. But we just keep on keeping on. So thank you for checking out the growth and what we're growing in our garden. And we'll see you next time, because we're just planting one seed at a time. That's all I can do.